Okay, welcome everybody to this evening's AUDJPY Securities webinar. My name is Duncan Cooper. So tonight's webinar is live Forex market review. So let's get straight into it. Before we do, if everybody can read through the disclaimer. For those on our YouTube live stream, I can't see the chat there, but I've given you the link to join us in the webinar if you want to talk to me. For those in the webinar, use the webinar chat box or the Q&A box to ask me questions. So I'll just take a moment to read through the disclaimer before we move along. All right, let's move along now. For those that don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. Give me a slide to move. My name is Duncan Cooper. I'm the Senior Market Strategist and Trading Mentor here at AUDJPY Securities, and been trading the Forex market almost 20 years, mentoring for more than 10. If you want to contact me about the webinars, then my email is there, duncan.cooper@acy.com. And through the week, you can connect with us at the website, acy.com, go to the Market News tab, at our YouTube channel, which is at AUDJPY Securities Australia. And if you want to connect with me personally, you'll get my links there on my Linktree page. If you want to use the charts I'm using tonight in MT4, just contact Nathan.bray. He'll only be too happy to set you up. For those in the webinar, I'll just put his details in the chat for you. All right, so let's get into the news events for the day. Just want to make sure my screen is changing. Okay, it should be changing. All right, so Thursday is the day today. So my time is Queensland time, so time is shown in Queensland time. So let's go through the red items. We've already had the flash services and PMI data releases from the Eurozone in France, Germany, and then the UK. Positive from Germany, so the euro has gone up at the moment, whereas French was slightly negative, but the German data has driven the euro dollar a little bit up to the 109 level. I should say the 108 level, I should say. And the UK data came in a little bit weak, so that's knocked it a little bit down. Now, coming up from the US at 10:30, we have the unemployment claims figures. It can be volatile on that release. And also, we have the flash manufacturing and service PMI data from the US at 11:45 p.m. So that can definitely add a little bit of volatility. We have seen a little bit of US dollar weakness today, probably just profit taken from yesterday's strength. And of course, the market is waiting to see what this data is going to be releasing. All right. Into tomorrow evening at 5:45 from the UK, we have the Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking. And at 10:30 p.m. from Canada, we have core retail sales and retail sales. Okay, so be aware most immediately of the US dollar coming out 10:30 to 11:45. All right, so let's get into the charts now. First up, we'll just have a look at the dollar index. I've been commentating about the support we've been getting in down at monthly supports, and we've had a very positive month up. We've still got a week to go. It's not out of any stretch of the imagination that we could be up to the top of that range by the end of the month. So to the day chart, you can see just today we're having a negative day, but we're still within the range of yesterday. So by the end of the day, it doesn't mean to say we're going to have a down day. We could just be pulling back within the range of yesterday to move up, or we could have a day down. But ultimately, one negative day here at the moment, intraday, or one negative day by the end of the day doesn't change the trend that we're having. We've just had 3 positive days. Wouldn't be any surprise to have a day down and then continue back up. You can see pullbacks within this movement up has been really an inside day and then a day down up, inside day down, day and up in the same day. So we could, be ready for a slight correction. So it's not changing the trend. We need to see something structurally change at the moment, which, a break of a higher bottom to change the trend, and the higher bottom is down here at the moment. So nothing shouting out yet that we are coming to the end of that move. Although, I'm being perfectly honest, it is quite elongated, but we're definitely seeing a very strong US dollar as we head towards, the election in the US. All right, S&P 500. This is where I said to watch on Tuesday for support, and it came in yesterday down in that area and started to bounce up. So this is maybe just putting in a higher bottom here on the day chart to continue up now. But that would still be the area to watch. If we were to dip back down again today, watching 57.68 for support once more on a test. All right, that is the area for support. So it had been proven yesterday. So yesterday was the day really probably that you needed to get long. Because if we don't pull back here, then you're getting very high up, back up within close to the all-time high. So there's always the time to trade, and it was yesterday down in this area. All right, euro dollar. All right, so we're just trying at the moment. This is my 15-minute chart. This is just trying to test. Well, it has tested it yesterday's high. So we are having a day up today. And at the moment, some support's coming in from the day chart down at this low down here. And that's just, at the moment, we're having what I would call a natural bounce at support within a very dominant downtrend. And the rally could just get curtailed at this area of broken support now at 108.10. Or if it wants to get there, because at the moment it's just testing yesterday's high. I think it's at 108.06, and we haven't quite got to up to 108.10. All right, so I've been saying that I feel like this very dominant trend that we're having here could come down to 106. I may need to have a bounce, may need to have a couple of days up. So we want to be looking potentially at the moment for opportunities still to sell a rally, unless we, of course, start to see maybe a much more stronger reversal to the upside. All right, so the 4-hour charts, a bit of a very positive 4-hour candle there on the news that came out before, but we're coming up to yesterday's high, this 4-hour high, and resistance here. So it's 108.06 to 108.10. That's potentially the resistance area for the day. There is a range here we can measure on the 4-hour chart for a rally, and we're pretty much at the 62 level. So 62 level and all this 4-hour resistance is possibly the optimum area today to look for reversal. We haven't quite been there yet. So watching this area to see if we start to top out would be the key today. All right, that will be the area of watch. And just for the buyers, if you think this support area down at 107.77 is support, then over the next few days, you can see we've been below it. We have been below it again today, but then come back above it. If we once more come down to 107.77 and hold, then that might mean we're going to have a much more of a corrective measure up. So that's the level of support to watch for the buyers if you're keen to get long. But let's not forget where the weekly and day trends are. They are down. So at the moment, we're getting some support coming in there. That would be where you want to be looking for an opportunity to buy if you want to buy. But from a point of view of trading with a trend, we've also got last week's low up here in the same area that I'm discussing today. So last week's low is at 108.10.4. All right, so here's a key area of resistance for the day. If we fail up here intraday, look for an opportunity to get short. Euro yen. Now, whilst the market was presenting us on Tuesday that we were at resistance, and yes, there was the opportunity to trade down from there, I did say that I felt that we maybe were getting close to maybe breaking north because the dollar yen was relatively strong. And yes, yen pairs have started to break to the upside. So day chart here, there's the breakout day yesterday. So today, there's a couple of areas to watch for a pullback if you're wanting to get long in line with this trend that's moving back up the range. We've already tested this high, 163.89 today, and then there's these highs down here. been using the lower high as resistance, so 163.48. And that red line there is last week's high at 163.59. So in a perfect world, we have a 4-hour uptrend here, looking for an overlap. 62.79% area comes in the zone where we have a lower area of support, the old highs. So that would be the most desirable area. So 163.62 down to 163.25. But we have seen a bit of a bounce on the weekly high. I think it's a weekly high. I just want to double check. Yeah, there's a weekly high here earlier in the day, and this dip down here. So I always like to go for the lower area in the natural 62.79% zone, because price will often, more often than not, want to visit this area. But things to watch today would be, if we come back down once more to test the 163.89 level and hold once more, then you need to look to get long as we start to move back above 164. All right. And that's assuming we can come down for another test down here. So I would say 164 down to 163.89 is support at the moment intraday, but we might need a deeper move into the old daily chart highs down in the 62.79% retracement area. So a couple of areas to watch, but I think what we need to accept now is that on the daily chart, there's a very strong possibility now we've seen a clear break above. And from consolidation, when we break above, we often will get strong moves. So looking for a dip where you can see you're set up to buy on a lower time frame is the key. All right, euro pound. Daily chart range at the moment, we're in a downtrend, and there's a daily chart range here. Just want to show my charts updating properly. All right, I'm going to assume it is now. So I have a high to low daily chart range here. All high time frame trends are down. We just stuck between, as I was saying on Tuesday, resistance and support from the higher time frames. Now it's looking like we're today wanting to be below 63.40, but as a trader, I'd like to sell a rally. And I know we've already spiked down here, but it would be great if we could revisit 63. So 80. My glasses aren't working very well today, so it's 83.40, not 63.40. These small numbers sometimes trick me up. So resistance is at 83.40 and support down here at 83.04. Now I did say on Tuesday, watch 83.40 for resistance to trade down to support, and that happened. So we may well just stay within the boundaries of those two areas of one support, two resistance. Today on the 15-minute chart, it would be nice. You probably already missed the opportunity, but the area to really watch is here. Now, we have already rallied back up and just missed it by a few pips. So we may have already missed the opportunity. So if you wanted to get short, any upticking at the moment, this way to get short and maybe putting your stop just a little bit above this area here. All right, that's assuming it'll offer you an uptick. At the moment, as I'm talking, it's moving down. So it was always the best time to get short. It would have been in here because of that move down from up here. We've probably just had a 62% retracement here, and it's probably, when you look at this other range, there's a 79% area up there. So that would be ideal if it could come up for one more look. So you have to decide yourself, is it going to give you the opportunity to get short up here if you're not already short, or have you missed the boat? But at the moment, it's most definitely, it's trying to get above 83.40, but then it can't. And clear support is down here, 83.04 at the moment. So those are the bounds of where price has really been held there at the moment on the euro pound. But overall, the trend is down. So getting short high up, close to 83.40, you could be trading for a possible break below 83.04. But of course, if 83.04 holds, you need to take your profits down at that level. All right, pound dollar. Trading within the range of yesterday. This is my 15-minute chart at the moment. So the daily, we've just come down. Weekly trends, now it has turned down. We've broken below this area here. And the next area of weekly support is 128.93. We've just been a little bit short of 129 at the moment. So a little bit of buying pressure coming in close to that area. Now, broken day support could be resistance today. 129.73. We've been very close to that level today. And the 4-hour range. So it's looking like we've had a 79% retracement, or very close to at the moment, with that resistance. Okay, old support through here. Did go below, fell back above. And then below. And at the moment, we're just, hasn't quite traded up to, we have last week's low here, which is 129.73. And the 79% level, which is up here. So that would be great if we could trade into there and then reverse today. That would be the area to watch. Now, of course, we've been 1 or 2 pips short, so we might not want to get there. So you need to watch what price does on this movement up here. If we stall, this could just rally up within this range and then stall at the 79% level of the small range. So really, that 79% level is at 129.66. The high one's at 75. So it's 11 pips there. You need to work out, do you want to sell at the small one here, so stop above the high here or stop above the area, or wait to see if you can get short at the higher level. Need to probably monitor the euro dollar with that. So euro dollar's dropping back below now. Probably seeing a failure today now at 108 on the euro dollar. And then we're probably heading down to 107 if we're failing at 108. So if this starts to sell off, the pound may not be able to come up to the highest level. So you're going to need to decide in this area what you want to do if you want to get short today. All right, Aussie yen. Now, daily chart is trying to get higher. There's a daily high here, there's a daily high here. And we've been rather consolidatory. Then we're coming up to a newest high of this whole area but you can see today that we've tested that high and we couldn't move above, but they were on an uptrend here with a higher bottom, higher top. Now, for the buyers to continue their move up on the Aussie yen, we need to on a pullback today, we need to see 100.94. So pretty much the 101 level hold as support. That would be the area to watch if you want to be a buyer, as this uptrend is starting to reform itself. All right, we've already been down there once today. So whether or not it will come back down into that area, but that is the area to watch. So the area to watch is that 109.94 level and the figure here. If you're bullish and you want to get along with this new uptrend forming, that is the area to watch to see if you can get it at support. You can see yesterday, once we moved above, became support here. Pull back through the day, became support here. So it's telling you it's clear support. So that is the area 101 down to 100.94 for support today. Now, just from an intraday perspective as well, what we're seeing here is we've got an area here. So whilst it would be great to be able to actually trade at the lower level, we might not be able to get down to the lower level because 3 times now we're holding here. So key to think about is if you see the 50-minute chart once more today, come into this area, spike in and give you a 50-minute rejection candle, then probably aren't coming down to this area and you want to get long as close to these lows as possible. Then coming back up to 101.41, this is where you want to get the risk out. And can we break above? All right. Okay, Aussie dollar. Did trade below. So from a weekly perspective, we're down to this weekly support low. We have traded below, but now we're just bouncing back above. I mean, we could hold here to trade all the way back up. I've been saying that there's a definite dominant range. If we relate this to the New Zealand dollar, top of the range, bottom of the range, we're kind of in the middle of the range here at the moment. Is the question for the Aussie now is, are we going to see a clear break below 66.22 and a move below 6,600? Okay, if we have a few days holding in that area, that would be suggestive of maybe supports coming in to move back up. All right, but at the moment, as we move into day chart, trend is down. Let me get rid of those lines. Trend is down, but we're bouncing on this level of weekly support. And at the moment, we're just kind of testing this area of daily resistance. Did have a strong day down yesterday, so we're just coming back up within the range of yesterday. Now, if we close above this area today, we're probably going back up to 67, okay? 4 hour, there's the 4 hour range. 15. It'd be nice if it came up to a fib level that the 62 level would be the first level. There is an area of 15-minute structure here to the left. So that would be the first area I'd watch today. Areas 1 and 2, 62 level, 66, 61, and 66, 74, the higher fib level. All right. So just, the 50-minute structure is actually turning down already. It's been a little bit short of the 62 level. But just where the market is right now, we're at last week's low. So I wouldn't want to sell into last week's low. What I'd like to see it was resistance and we moved above. This could be support at the moment for the buyers. Is if we're not going to come up to higher levels, I want to see this come below, rally back to, and that's where you sell to trade down. All right, so we need to see a little bit of a flip of the support to resistance here, which we don't quite have at the moment. But the trend is down. Doing the natural thing of we're down in the day yesterday. We're just coming back up within the range of yesterday to put in a high at the moment. And then are we going to be going down to put in a low during the day? All right. New Zealand yen. Struggling at its resistance area. So it's not as strong as the Aussie yen, nowhere near as strong as the Euro yen. I might just go back. I didn't cover the pound yen, so I'm just going to go back to the pound yen first of all before I get into the New Zealand yen. So Euro yen and pound yen are a lot stronger than the Aussie yen, New Zealand yen. And we're just at an old area of support that was, so that potential resistance at the moment. With this breakout, we want to see a pullback to support. That would be the perfect area to buy at the moment. So 195, 966. I'm going to change that line to 966. That's the monthly area to the left. But as we've got a closer reference point just here, Got a couple of reference points closer, 95.96 down to 95.61. That's the key area of support at the moment. 4-hour range, 79% levels, 62, 79% area is just there. So 79% level is at 195.80 and the first level of support is at 195.96. So 195.96 down to 195.80 would be the perfect area to look for a retracement down to. Then can you see an intraday movement back up from there? Intraday setup to get trade up from support. We were sideways a long time and then we've broken out strongly. Expect the old roof where the consolidation was holding at to become supports. All right. All right, so pound yen, euro yen are a lot stronger than Aussie yen, New Zealand yen. New Zealand yen, personally, I don't really like it at the moment. It is in an uptrend, but because it's moving up to a higher top now to the last top here, but it doesn't like, none of this price action through here wants to commit above this high. So, you know, we're at resistance. So really, there's the potential opportunity here today to look for a failure at 91.65 to move back down to 90.09. Over the last 4 hour candles have been struggling there. So that would be the level to watch for me. Watch to see if you can get another test of 91.65 to trade down. If you want to trade this pair. And trading down, so, you know, that's resistance. And that's support. So 91.65 resistance, 90.09 is support. So at the moment, the model operation will be, could you get short at 91.65 to trade down to 90.09, okay? New Zealand dollar, just moving back up within the range of yesterday. Here on my 15-minute. The long-term position will play it like I was just saying on the Aussie, but it's a lot clearer here on the New Zealand's weekly top range to the bottom of the range. As I've said before, not to toot my own horn, I got short up here, 63.60 I got short, and I'm still waiting to see if we can come down to 58.49. All right, so day trends down. So it's coming back up within the range of yesterday. So at the moment, we just need to monitor the range of yesterday to see if we can put an intraday high in. There's daily resistance just here, 60.39. Four-hour range just there. And we're halfway up that range at the moment. So opportunity to get short. Perfect area actually would be the daily chart resistance, which is last week's low up there at 60.39. If we could get there. So the 62% level is a little bit below. So this area here, 60.33 to 60.39. Can we get up as high as that today? To put in the high for the day, and then I'm going to move back down. Okay, dollar Canadian. We're just traded maybe a pip below yesterday's low. I just want to go to the daily. Now at the moment, we're up at a resistance area. Trend is up, but you can see there that we're holding at resistance at the top. If you wanted to get short this pair, because you maybe think that there's a long-term failure at this high over here, there's a possibility of this being, if you're bearish, there's a possibility of this being left shoulder head right shoulder. Well, you've already missed the perfect level to trade at because we were up here earlier in the day at resistance. All right, so you could have got short up there and be risk-free by now. And then even if you are wrong, doesn't really matter. Overall, the trend is up until it's not. We need to break this low at the moment to change the day chart trend. High time frame trend, the weekly trend is clearly up here, trading into that weekly area. And the monthly trend is higher top, higher bottom, where the market's asking itself, are we going to be able to take out all these highs to the left? Of course, at the moment, we're struggling there, but maybe it just needs some further news to help it on its way. Now, if this trend is going to hold long term, then there's the day chart range at the moment. 62 level, if we get back down to 37.90, which is only 23 pips away, overlaps with the previous area of resistance here. And, you know, long-term trends up at the moment. So whilst we could be failing up here, dominant trend is up. I'd be much more inclined to look to trade a pullback. Now, if we were to break at this area here at 137.46, I would have to change my mind then because the day chart trend turns to down. But with such a dominant US dollar strength at the moment, I think trying to get short, you could have got short already today and be at break even. But what you might find is you just get stopped out at break even because the market just pulls back a little bit from resistance into where the buyers would be a lot happier buying. And then if some positive news event comes out, we'll go higher again. It's well worth watching today. Where we're at the moment could be support. We're just trying to have a day down today. So back to the day chart, we're just trying to have a day down here. We have lows of 2 days here. So we may well, folks, break those lows to move back up today. So we're just in that area right now. So if we start to see a reversal on a 15-minute chart, back up from this area at the moment, maybe we're false breaking the lows of the last 2 days to move back up. So do you wait for a lower pullback if it wants to come, or if you see a reversal here, you might want to move to a 1 hour chart. Do you see a 1 hour rejection down here? So this area down here is 138.13. All right. We start to get, if we see a clear reversal back up there, we could just be having 1 day down just to move back up. All right, dollar franc. I've been saying, can we come down? That was what I was marking in on Tuesday to the day chart. Trend is up, could be coming back down to support. That would be the best area at the moment to look for an opportunity to trade in line with the trend. Whether it's going to offer that, you just have to be patient. 4 hour trend is looking a little heavy up here at the moment. So let's go back to there. Daily, there's a range here. 62 level overlaps perfectly with this old area of resistance to be supported. The 8604 area, 8407 to 8604. That would be the old watch. So it's actually the same area as I was discussing on Tuesday, really. Dollar yen. All right, two-day chart. So what happened yesterday is we did trade above the 22 and 23 highs and this area here. So is that area going to be able to act as support now? We moved above it yesterday. That is definitely the area to watch for support today. All right. Now I just want to go to the day chart and make one statement. If we can't hold that area today, maybe we're going to Then come back down to, I would say, this area here, 149.973 for support. That's quite a long way away. So at the moment, the 4-hour structure, it's okay to dip below 151.94, but we really want to see it closing back above there today. So, you know, coming into the 62.79% level to buy a dip, and then you really want it to power back above 151.94. That's assuming we can get down into that region. On the 15-minute chart, it's well worth watching 152 down to 151.94. We're just testing this area at the moment. If this starts to hold, and you can see maybe a trend line break, this could be the buying level for the day. All right, just at the 50% point of that move up. I always much prefer the 62.79% zone, but this has been exceptionally strong. This is a key area that we moved above yesterday. If that key area starts to show you support and reverses back up, maybe the buyers are just sitting straight underneath here, and they're not going to let it go below there now. We want to be above those 22, 23 highs, and we want to keep powering on. So this is quite clearly a very strong area of possible support for the day. So watch the area to see if the support comes in. All right, getting to gold. All right, a bit of an outside day yesterday. It's very difficult at the moment to call a top on gold, even though you get an outside day like that, because we're at no known levels of resistance for failure, because we made a fresh high yesterday. Personally, I would be inclined to trade to the downside, but I would wait for prices to come back to the area of support, which is 26.85 down to 26.70, these two old highs here. Of course, to get down there, price will need to move down there. So, you know, 4-hour structure has turned down. Could see a little bit of a head and shoulder pattern forming here on gold. To trade down, we're at the 62 level. Left shoulder there at 27.40, so left shoulder head. Are we forming a right shoulder? To move down into this area of support. All right, so that's obviously counter trend. Personally, I would much prefer just to see if price pulls back to support and then look for an opportunity to trade up, rather than trying to turn it short, because whilst we've had an outside day yesterday, we may just go straight back up today, and you know, you really are trying to short, you know, shorting an uptrend, even though on a lower time frame a possible patterns forming there. So much prefer just to watch for support to be tested down here. It's last month's high, 26.85. That would be the key area to watch if the market was going to give us some form of pullback. All right, just pulling back to there doesn't change the trend. It just means that price has gotten down to a lower level where technically it could be support because it's last month's high, and offer a lower level for buyers to come back into the market to push it back up to new heights. Okay. All right, let's just go back to the euro dollar, see what it's doing. All right, struggling at 108. It's kind of false breaking yesterday's high. What was wanting to hold below last week's low, couldn't quite get to last week's low. Couldn't get to last week's low yesterday, so over here it decided to move below last week's low here. Couldn't get there yesterday, and we can't get there today. So need to make a decision here. This could be the high of the day. Pound dollar starting to maybe hold at that smaller 79% level here. Is this the high area of the day? Again, that's last week's low. So both the pound dollar and the euro dollar are, I've tried to come up to test last week's low that we've broken below, and we haven't been able to trade there quite yet. So last week's low could well factor in to be the high of the day or close to. Well, worth watching that, as we've got some US news coming out later, so that could get tested in volatility when the news comes out. But if we start to, we trade above and then start to sink below, then it would be an area to watch. Just with the volatility of the market, we've got last month's low up here. Any volatility today, so if we were to trade above yesterday's high today, we have last month's low and the figure up here. So any news volatility that created, a spike up, we've got the US data. So the US data for those coming in late. 10:30 tonight, we've got unemployment claims and manufacturing and services flash PMI data. So that data could definitely push the pound dollar up. And those, that higher level would be an exceptionally good level to watch today if we pushed up to there at 130, because kind of getting support down here just short of 129. And pairs like to, get support at the figure, move back up to the next figure and hold to move back down to the figure it just came from in a downtrend. So well worth watching up there later in the day at 130. Okay. All right, I'm going to call it a day there. So just be aware of the news items further coming out. So Aussie may not quite have finished its outward move today. Watch the 6279% levels there, as I discussed earlier. Or I'm going to call it a day there, just to give you a heads up next week. Webinar links at the top. If you want to join me, just head over to the webinar link and register your interest. Next week, Tuesday, more analysis. Wednesday, I'm going to go through on the education webinar covering the figure. And then I've got more analysis coming in on the last day of the month, the 31st. So it is going to be interesting to see if we see continual US dollar strength all the way into the end of the month. The US election is, I saw it on the news today. So I think it's Wednesday the 6th. So we've still got nearly 2 weeks, if I'm correct on the date. So we could definitely trade all the way down into the end of the month and into the first week of the new month. So we'll have to wait and see how things pan out. But at the moment, even though we are moving up today versus the US dollar on pairs, don't forget where the trend is. We've got a very dominant trend, uptrend on the US dollar. So maybe just opportunities to sell a rally at the moment as price moves up. All right, so if you want to join me next week, just head over to the webinar page, register your interest. Other than that, have a great rest of the week trading and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, everybody.